Hello, Red. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Hope you're doing good. Oh, looks like we're about to start. Finally finished the new intro screen, by the way. So let's get started. Hello everyone, how's everyone doing today? Hope you're all doing good. Yes, today. Since I finished the intro screen, which I have been working for a while now, I figured it'd be a good time for me to get back on this frame in particular. Remember this? The Tsume character sheet I did? Well, I've done these before, and I never really done much with them. So what I want to do today is every time I do one of these, I want to do at least one or two like different positions with the character design, right? And maybe try different styles and stuff like that. So I was thinking maybe we could do something pin-up-y today, essentially. Yes. So I think that would be fun. Could do maybe... I want to do something at an angle today. I want to make my life hard. I want to do angles today. So... first things first. Let me think here. I think I wanna try maybe something along these lines. Maybe this escape view, something like that. Don't know, just something to keep in mind. Anyways, let's get started. So, ooh, no. Something like this. I wanna do some practice, angle practice. Hey Red! Ibiba. What's up? What's up? Hope you're doing good today. And whose panties are those? Are they mine? Are they mine? Did you grab my panties again? Sent you something hot. Ooh. It's on Discord? Let's see. Ooh. Oh my god. Oh, that is pretty hot, honestly. Wow. That is awesome. That's from the last chapter, too. Holy crap, those are... I'm gonna have to study those VFX. This is worth a lot of study material, honestly. If we can do something like that, it is possible. It is possible. The background, though, it is a lot of work, though. But yeah, it should be possible. Check the guy out, lots of good picture study. You know what? I am actually gonna save him up here. Oh, weird. I'm following them, but it didn't show. Well, I'm bookmarking this in particular. There we go. I swear, like the algorithm for X is terrible. It doesn't show the people I follow. Ow. Hey Kai, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Hi Zor. You hit me, congratulations. Not good? Aww. That is too bad, Kai. May I interest you in calm music and pixel art? What the dog doing? Oh, hydrate, okay. The dog, and the wolf, that is. One of my dogs is on her final day, so I'm gonna see her soon to say bye. Oh, that hurts. That stings, I know the feeling. I know the feeling. It sucks. It's for the best usually, but it sucks regardless. Hello Lunatic, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. I wanna do some angles today. How are you? Hope you're doing good. Okay, so we're gonna have to start drawing the details already before the rest of the body. Because otherwise, I know I'm gonna get lost. Especially because I'm doing this from my head. Which is like harder than it should be. If I do this with my mind's eye. Oh, stretch. Okay, Zor. There we go. Okay, so I want to do the eyes down a little bit. Because I want to make her looking down. That's kind of what we're going for. I think... like... something like this. Looking down on the peasants. Maybe, we'll see. We'll see where the drawing takes us. We'll see. Could be that, could be something different. It's not even looking down. She's gonna be, you know, the... you know when the camera is shooting from upward? Basically that. It is a very awkward angle to draw. Pixel art in particularly. But it's awkward regardless. Oh, we are gonna... let's see here. So, let me see now. So first things first, I'm gonna try to do this without looking at any references, and then I'm gonna look at some references and see how off I was, as kind of a way to figure out what to correct, what we did wrong, stuff like that. So today is basically study day. Today is study day. We going to class. We going to class. I've been taking a lot of art lessons, by the way. Really trying to see how much of it I can transfer to pixel art. Oh. Seven views in a row. I see. Interesting. It is. The art lessons, I think, have been pretty good. I still got a lot of jittering when it comes to drawing. The fuck, why did I just get notice you are live? Because everything doesn't work the way it should. Did you know if you change one letter in Tsume, you get Sumo? Yes! Did you know Tsume means claw in Japanese? Something, draw her chubby. Nah. Then we'll get next. I got singing lessons today too. I don't know. Do you guys think my singing has improved somewhat? I've been going for a year now. I hope it's been paying off. We pretty much took me and Momochi. Wait, it's been a year? Yeah, it's been a year. It's been a year. It's been a whole year, and it's probably gonna be another one. I really like the teacher. And I've been thinking then with Momochi, I think Momochi I know has improved significantly compared to me. She was rather, she was a little bit tone deaf when before we did the classes, and I think she is like really developing that part of her, so it's been really good. It's been really good. The part of her repertoire. Now, her sister got a little bit excited with the fact that she is taking singing lessons and asked for and told her to do some like really hard covers. Which is the sisterly thing to do. You know. I kind of wish I could sing the Japanese version of the Beastars intro. I have been messing around my 3.0 design a lot. That is cool! That is cool! Time to sing out of Lotus, which is surprisingly hard. It's not that hard. It's not that. I don't think it's surprising that it's hard. Honestly, having to remember every single Chinese dish that they put there is freaking hard. It is just freaking hard. Now let me think a little bit. It is a little bit distorted. So... Oh, I mean more like the tone, pitch and stuff. Really? I haven't tried. Let me see. I am fire, burning those who dare care for me. And na 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 na. Yeah, it is tough. It is tough. There's a lot of high pitches. It's hard to keep them. It's hard. No, it's hard. It's hard to keep them. Like, Lunatic, when I hear something fun about singing, did you know that you need to harden your body in order to sing properly? Like, literally harden your body. You need to like hold your belly in. Did you know that? In order to hit the higher notes, you need to like create a you need to kind of like set a body structure. Otherwise, yeah, you need to get hard. Yes. Otherwise, you won't actually get the pitch. You kind of have to hold your belly in order to do that. Doesn't work otherwise. Yeah, but it takes like some decent amount of practice to do that properly. Like, I still forget sometimes when I'm gonna sing. When I remember, it goes well. From my singing and voice practice to the shower? Nice! I just didn't reach the ketones and that was that. Also, the shower is like the place with the best acoustic in the in the house, you know? Well, 1 year, 10 months, 8 days, and 23 hours. Oh my god, it's a lot of follow. I have this one range which I just cannot do. Is it like high pitch or not? Usually it depends on your voice. Depending on your voice, there are ranges in the higher pitch which are harder, and there are ranges in the lower pitch which are harder. I have my low-pitched voice and my high-pitched voice, but there is this one middle range I cannot do. Ah, yeah, there are some ranges which are like in between that tend to be super hard to do, yes. That is a thing, yes. There are some notes in between which are just, like, naturally harder. They're just naturally harder, yes. Na, na, na. I 3D printed some yesterday that took 12 hours. 3D printing consumes a lot of time, right? I know from Norex. It's always hard for him when he's 3D printing something. It always takes a long time. Is this? It's kind of a toggle between going high and low pitch, so I need to go the between then, constantly toggle it between lower range and higher pitch voice and the higher range. You need to... What you need to do, there are some exercises that we do in class, right? That are about to do, that are like scaling the voice. So you don't just flip a switch from high to low, so you can get all the in-betweens. It usually sounds really dumb while you're doing it, but it's necessary. You kind of go... You start on a tone and you rise up to 3 tones higher, like you know, kind of like that. But then you start like really low, like and then you scale down back again. So you keep doing this, but then you lift the range a little bit, so you start like on the second one, and you keep going a bit higher, then going back, and going a little bit higher, and then going back, and going a bit higher, but going back, and then going a bit higher, and then going back, right? That is how we practice. That is how we practice. I'm very good at changing the pitch of my voice. That is cool. It's a good ability to have, particularly if you're going to stream. The main reason we started doing the singing lessons was because we wanted to learn more voice control. I remember telling the story last year that we tried to get some voice acting lessons, but the voice acting lessons required us to actually have been to acting school before, and it wasn't anywhere on the site that was a prerequisite, so we just kinda got kicked out because we didn't have a diploma for it. Because here in Brazil, everything has an union. So it's good because there's someone to fight for your rights. It begets a little bit of gatekeeping though. So we couldn't get the specialized course essentially because we didn't have the prerequisites. But at the same time, Momochi was looking for singing lessons, and the singing lessons had just opened up a spot right at the time of the voice acting classes. So it ended up working out for us to do the singing lessons instead. And it's nice, she did give us a lot of pointers on vocal care and stuff like that. So overall a win. It was overall a win. I just realized it sounded like Morgan and Ribby. Morgan and Rigby from regular show. Really? I didn't watch a whole lot of that show. It's funny, I just never really sat down to watch it properly. From what I know from that show, everything scales up to 11 by the end of the show. Never seen that show either. My understanding from the show, based on the few episodes that I've watched, is that it starts with something really silly, like finding a tape with an old song in it, and then it scales up to like some sort of global eldritch threat. Always. The joke being that there's nothing very regular about the regular show. The regular show isn't that regular to begin with, is the... is the joke. Okay, so let me think now. Gotta think 3D. Jesus, regular show is 15 years old. Ah, how time flies. You know, just the fact that if I'm playing Revengeance, Metal Gear Revengeance, I can put it in the retro category is like... really? I mean, yes? But also, really? You know what I mean? Metal Gear Revengeance was for the PS3. The PS3 is, if it's not already considered a... how do you say, a retro console, it's getting there. It's getting close. It's getting close and it scares me. You know what I want to do? I want to do... Terrifying thought, that is indeed. It is, it is. I'm still thinking about what I want to do with this. Do I want to do like a Habbo Hotel style angle for her? We could do that. Hmm. Do I want to make her leaning over? No, I said we're doing the Habbo style hotel angle for her. Flip Witch Sume. Yeah, I am gonna do it. I am gonna do it. I did work on one before, but that was before the... I did the revamp. I could also do... Theoretically, I can do like horny art of her, just not here on stream right now. I never really know for sure whether I should focus on that on my Patreon or not. Did I just hear horny? Sometimes I wonder if I think about doing like that, things like that because I want to, if it's because I want to, or if it's because I think it's what I should be doing. You said felt uncomfortable making that safe for work with Sumi due to her being a mentor figure to her VTuber. Yeah, it is a weird, it is a weird angle for sure. Hello, Dinalumi. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? We're testing angles today. How are you? Oh, that is kind of a cool angle. Maybe we could do it a little bit more. Hi, I'm doing okay. Sadly having a cold. Oh no! Hope you get better soon. Those are annoying. I understand the feel now, since I feel uncomfortable seeing it. Yeah. Honestly, I've always been the type of person who doesn't like reading doujinshi of characters I know. Usually. One of the reasons being is that 95% of those don't really feel like it's the character at all. They're so mischaracterized. And I'm a maid now. Thank you. Hi, Gochujin-sama. I feel like never look at Shimenta. It's always for the character who I have no idea who they are. Yeah. No, there's like a weird feeling, right? It's like someone you of like watching that kind of stuff when it's a character you know a lot of. It's like I don't know. It's weird. Almost as weird as this, this anatomy here. Like, what is this? Hold up. Worm. Yeah, no, it is quite a bit distorted. But I think it's salvageable. Yeah, but would still love Sumi if she was a war. Sure. Don't worry, we got this. We got this. Like I said, everything is fixable. Everything is fixable. I remember seeing a meme about that meme actually. Is it the 1,000-hour speech about the consciousness of the worm and whether the person retains their consciousness as a worm or if they are just a worm now and it would be bad to set them free to live their wormy life and it wouldn't be right for you to actually hold the person as a worm forever, something like that. Would you still love me if I was a worm? Worms don't have feet. Oh my god. Savage. That is savage. That is savage. You know, I'll be real, sometimes I kind of wish I had a fit fetish. I feel like living, not having a fit fetish and living with Momochi is almost a waste. It's almost a waste. Like, Momochi has really warm feet. So, because of it, even though it's winter, she never wears socks, ever. And I keep having to tell her to put some socks on because it's cold, because she always gets a cold. And maybe if I was into feet, I would enjoy that instead of constantly worrying about the fact that she's not wearing socks. Man, Ender Lily was good. It was really good. I still haven't finished Ender Magnolia. I still haven't finished Ender Magnolia. I started it on stream. And I'm not entirely sure why I stopped it. Why the hell they also had Millie for the music? Yeah, Millie is more available than you'd think. They did some anime intro songs also. There was this one that was based on gacha for the ladies. That is about summoning pretty magical boys to fight the moon. She did the intro for that one too. I know they did Goblin Slayer. No, Goblin Slayer is Mittenroid. Mittenroid is the band that collabed with Millie to do the intro for Limbus Company. They did a duo. I'm gonna go since I'm very tired. Alright, Sor, have a good one. At the risk of, well, actually new, Lunatic. That was Myth and Ride. Unless they did a new season and I'm not aware. Did they do a new season of Goblin Slayer? Man, Goblin Slayer... Goblin Slayer was an anime, wasn't it? It's kinda interesting because out of the people who liked it, a lot of people who were D&D nerds liked it, despite the graphical content, because they kinda knew that goblins could be that bad. They knew going in that goblins could be that bad, so they weren't too shocked. But at the end of the day, it was all that shock value for what basically kind of becomes a harem anime. Harem anime about a guy who never wants to take his hat off, kills goblins in very creative fashions, and at the end of the day just really would rather be an ice cream man. I'm not saying that's a bad story, I'm just saying that maybe you didn't need it to use all that graphic stuff at the beginning if that was the story you wanted to tell. Outside of, you know, making sure that the people knew that the goblins are the most acceptable of targets. Millie did rightfully the first OP of Goblin Slayer. Oh! The first one was Millie? Oh, I was thinking of the second one. Okay, I didn't know that. Alright, I got out, actually. I got out actually. Huh. Interesting. I need to re-listen to that one. I know both intros are amazing. It was also really funny. I think Myth and Roy did an intro for like this really mediocre. I made sure to Google because I swear I saw it on Millie's Spotify and also recognized the voice. Ah, I see. I got out actually. Good job. Okay, so for now it kind of looks like she's floating on a plane of existence. What if I... turn her ankles around a little bit. Floating on a plane of existence, huh? Something like that. I remember South Park made an entire episode based on the joke of like mishearing planes of existence and thinking that they're actual airplanes. Makes me think of those space music covers where the lady's floating in space. Indeed. Okay, I think we're getting there. Space is cool. It's very mysterious and full of wonders and mysteries and radiation. I do find it interesting that people can be very afraid of either space or the ocean. And like, I both get it, and at the same time I don't, because at the end of the day, the odds of you ending up in either is very, very low. I mean, ocean a little bit more, but like, you're not gonna ever reach the bottom of the ocean, right? You'll be dead way before. I am sure that this, listening to this is gonna make everyone who has the phobia feel much, much better about it. Play Subnautica. Momochi playing Subnautica is a treat. She is relatively very chill in there, while everyone is pooping their pants. Man, that one time that she and Hato played Subnautica together was magnificent. Hato would be like shitting his pants over something that was happening, and Momochi would be either laughing or actively egging him on. Yeah, it's been a while too. It's been a while too. Think we're doing it. You know, I never actually saw the boss of the song. I keep forgetting to look her up, and I got up when Momochi was fighting her. And apparently she wasn't strong enough for the battle to last too long. I also think... I know she's a toad lady. That much I know. It was reminds me of something, but I can't quite think what. Like I said, I am drawing from my head, so it's probably something old. If it's coming from my head, it's probably something old, not gonna lie. It's what is in the reservoir. And if it's in the reservoir, it's probably old. Some of the potential options I'm thinking of are nothing you think of or know, so I don't think. Okay, give it a try. Give it a try. let's give it a try. Tell me what you're thinking of. Who knows? Maybe it's something that's buried they put in. What are you thinking of, lunatic? See. It's not just a matter of doing the angle, it's a matter of doing the angle in pixel art. And making sure the boobs are big. One of them is Terraria Stars Above Mod, the new game is Second Stellar, and the other one is Future Fragments, which I'm not sure why I'm thinking of, but I am. Okay, you know what? You were right, I have no idea what you're talking about. $100% or no clue. One is a neat Terraria mod, the other is a Shimentai game. Yep. Which one is the Shimentai game? Future Fragments. Ah. That's a Shimentai game? That doesn't sound like a Shimentai game in name. Oh, speaking of which, chat. Something rather funny happened. You know that Steam is starting their it's that time again for Steam sales, right? Praise Lord Gabe, the inventor of the GameCube. But anyways, and Momochi decided to she's gonna do like a little survey thing. She wants to do like a survey thing to make sure everyone's enjoying the stream alright and if there's anything she can improve. You guys should fill it up when you have the time, actually. I don't know if she posted it already or if she's gonna post it soon, but it's gonna be there. At any rate, it's a good one. I heard it's got a lot of game in the game and it's quite story heavy from what I heard. It's been in development for years and did release a while back. Ah, so it's one of the good ones. I see. Could be interesting, Okay, so I think we're alright on the angle department. The boobies might be a little bit too small. Maybe we can enhance them somewhat. See. Should they platform Metroidvania? Do you know if you ever want to play considering the stuff in it, but it's something. Fair. Honestly, if it's more, let's put it as hardcore than Flipwitch, I'm probably not interested. It's been that longer. 2025 was a strange year, wasn't it? It feels like a lot happened in 2025, but at the same time everything just happened so fast. Doesn't it feel that way? Maybe it's because it's the end of the year though. Could just be end of the year hangover talking already. I'll say I definitely got more hardcore than Flip, which I see. I see. What do you guys think? Boob-wise, I think it's good. I'm not entirely sure on the hips. If the hips are too thin. They might be. Okay, I feel like the face needs to be distorted more for this angle. Does it? Feels close. It feels close. What the heck? I look at back and big titties. Okay, so I increased the size properly. Suma's baggage is not humble. I think Hiba has a thing for big titties. Nah, you're imagining things. Where would you get that idea? Where would you get that idea? I wonder what could have given it away. I know, right? There's nothing. That said, I do think there is a point where it's a little bit too much for me. For my personal taste. Doesn't stop me from taking commission from people who want it bigger, though. I've done it before, you've probably seen it. It just won't hit me up personally. This is peeving me a little bit here. I would say there's always a point of too big, but not in the internet. I don't think there is for some people. Oh, for some people, oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. There is definitely a factor of greed, so to say, in this kind of fetish, where just like keep going bigger, keep going bigger, keep going bigger. I like that it is big in drawing, personally, because it's kind of a visual way to communicate softness as a tactile feeling. But doesn't mean I necessarily like it then at that size IRL, so to speak. I feel like the things that you like drawn and the things that you like IRL are a little bit different. And I think it's kind of important to reflect on the difference a little bit, just to not completely body dysmorphia yourself into oblivion too. It also helps in drawing to cover the more difficult details to draw. It does, it does. It even works as a way of taking away from like any flaws in your drawing, because you're too busy paying attention to certain parts. Than to notice some obvious flaws in the drawing, but let's not settle for that, shall we? I want to keep improving. Let's see. Difficult pose, difficult to draw mid-section details, solution, draw big ass titties. You know that as I started to learn more and more, drawing them really big started becoming a little bit difficult, actually. I'm like, wait, I know how to draw this part. But it's being covered. Should I try to keep drawing it, or... No, it's being covered. Oh. Momochi is in the house. It's the same with like big hair. You can kind of hide a lot of details with big hair. If you want. What do you guys think? This kind of angle. Wonder if we did it. I mean, at the very least, she looks like she... I'm not sure if she looks like she's standing from a weird camera angle, but at least her body looks tilted forward. So at least we got that far. Let me see. I have like a little dolly here that I can kind of use to compare. I think from this angle, interestingly enough, the legs should be a bit more over here. Should they? I am not entirely sure. Hold up, I think I'm gonna research a pose. Let's research a pose and see if we can figure out what have I done right or wrong so far. I ended up going for a weird Habbo Hotel thing, but I kinda wanted to do one without being on this other plane of existence that I did. You know what? Maybe I should restart. I'm gonna keep this one. This is like an interesting study. But let me try to get... Let's see. Let's see if we can do something like this one. This. I want to try to do something like this, but it's me. Maybe it's too hard, who knows? Let's see. Mm-hmm. Hmm? But I feel like the first had almost started like this, but because of the lines that these lines that I drew, I ended up getting lost in the sauce a little bit. So no lines this time. Let's see, eyes. This. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm making the everything too small. How big is this? How big is this? Width, height 170. What if we made like a really big pixel art? Let's make a really big pixel art. I haven't done those in forever. Down, down. Down, 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 down. Down, down, down. Down, down. Down, down. But yeah, man, we've been watching a series called Severance. Pretty damn good. But you know what else? It's pretty good. That I don't think I've seen anyone talking about. Like anyone talking about at all, and it's kind of a shame, really. There's this show on Netflix that I think it's called Haunted House. I only know the translator name is called Haunted House. I'm not sure. It's about a haunted hotel. I know, weird. That that is run by this divorced mom, her kids, and her brother. But the plot twist is that the brother is already dead. The brother was the one who bought the haunted hotel. And she ended up inheriting it after he passed away. And the brother passed away within the hotel grounds, and the hotel is haunted, so whoever dies within boundaries of the hotel just comes back as a ghost. That is the basic plot. Of the show. The hotel is extremely cursed. It was like there is even a gate, there's even a few gates to hell under it, along with all the burial grounds. Like every single thing that could make the hotel as haunted as possible happened there. So you got serial killers living in the woods, you got like some Kichulu thing, you got monsters, you name it. Whatever cliche for horror you can imagine is in the show. And it's pretty funny. I think it's pretty funny. It's kind of a chill funny. It's not like a, oh my god, joke after joke after joke, but they do sneak some really good ones in there if you're not paying attention. You're like, sometimes you might be like, okay, I think I understand the situation, then a joke comes out of left field. It's pretty decent. I enjoy the humor a lot. It gets funnier the more episodes you're in, also. So there is that. And it's at the same time somewhat wholesome, which is impressive considering it was by the same guy who made Rick and Morty. Which, again, interesting that no one's talking about it, because it does have the pedigree, so to speak. Of being made by the guy who made Rick and Morty. It's much less edgier, though. And it has a character that the more time passes, the more you start to enjoy him. There is a possessed kid in the show that is just kind of there, and it acts almost like their cat. It's a demon called Abaddon that possessed the child of a priest. But the priest sealed Abaddon's soul in his own child, and as he was about to exorcise Abaddon, Abaddon threw both of them off a cliff and survived. And now his immortal demon soul is trapped in the body of the child, and he can't leave and go back to hell even if he wanted to, because thanks to him being inside the child's immortal. So ironically, he is stuck completely and rendered pretty harmless because he's about as strong as a small child. So he's an immortal demon that is bored as fuck, living wacky hijink adventures, being a part of the family that runs the hotel. And at that point I realized that that's like an amazing, how do you say? It's an amazing like VTuber lore, you know? Like you wanna have a child avatar and your voice doesn't match at all. It's perfect. It's like the perfect excuse. Yeah, no, I'm a demon possessing the small child. That is why I sound like I'm 50 and smoke all the cigarettes. Like, maybe I have VTuber brain rot at this point. I'm like judging character designs based on how well they would go as VTubers, how well they would pass as VTubers, and I'm like judging characters' backstories based on how nicely it would adapt as lore. Maybe it could be VTuber brain rot, but kudos, honestly. He's also by far one of the most entertaining characters just because of how silly his hijinks can be. Like, he does stuff that is extremely sus because he is a demon. But most of the time he is like struggling to open a can of pickles or something like that. There was one episode where the mother accidentally left him trapped under the... Not under. In between the door, because the door had an auto-lock system. You know those doors that will have like a little leg thing that stops them from flopping open and closed while they're open? Yeah, he got stuck in the like triangle area behind it, and he couldn't break free at all. And the entire episode, they were fighting ghosts, and there were some influencers that went to film the place, and his entire contribution to the episode was like 0. He was just trying to get out of there. And it took him the entire episode to get out. And it was glorious. Sound like a fun show. It is. It actually is. The horror stuff is actually very light. The ghosts are hilarious. There's a ghost called Stabby Pete. He wants to stab everyone, but he's a ghost. So he just kinda has like a little ghost knife and tries to stab through things, and it just keeps phasing through. So he's just going like, eh, 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 eh. Because ghosts usually can't really interact with the physical plane. The first episode is interesting because in a weird sense, because the first episode has like a lot of like lore dump even. The first episode is basically justifying that the show exists. Which, oddly enough, is necessary because you kinda need to... There are few stuff you need to establish. So the first episode exists pretty much to justify everything that happens in the show. and like solve like little dumb questions that might pop up, like, oh, why doesn't she just call it, if the hotel is haunted, why doesn't she just call an exorcist? And that's literally the first episode. The first episode is her calling an exorcist, and you understanding why she will never call an exorcist again for the rest of the show. They establish a lot of things early on the first episode. And it's all consistent. That is the good part. That is the good part. If they establish a bunch of stuff and then completely forgot what they did, it would suck balls, but instead, they know what they're doing. They establish stuff for the sake of using it throughout the whole show and not a single episode. You know how rare that is? Decently written. What is the name of the show? Let me grab it. Hold up, because I only know the name in Portuguese. Oh, maybe it's Haunted Hotel. Hold up. Haunted Hotel. Is it? Yeah, it's just call it Haunted Hotel. It's just call it Haunted Hotel. But the real haunting was the challenge to be a divorced parent trying to raise children in a haunted hotel. The children are pretty good too, by the way. The boy is a little bit of it's on the dark side of things. It's very dorky. But he is very well-meaning. He's very well-meaning and well-spirited. The little girl is pretty much a Hellion who will dabble into dark magic if it means you can get away from a parent-teachers meeting. So, with all the supernatural stuff that's happening, she's perfect for causing half of it. And her brother is like the perfect accomplice for her. Because he will go along with almost anything. Each of them has like a thing too, but so far it hasn't been fully explored. But I'm pretty sure it will be at one point. Okay, so here is where we need to explore. So far, we aren't really making the... I need to figure out, how do I make anime eyes like this? you know, looking a little bit down. I'm sure I've seen them. Let me get some anime references. Anime woman. Looking down. Okay, so in theory, one way. Let me see if I understood. So one way we can do this is making it a little bit more closed and also not as big. But yeah, it's a pretty good show. It's a pretty good show. I recommend it. I recommend it. Severance is also another pretty decent show that we are watching. This one is like the existential horror of working at an office. Interesting that I asked for anime girls looking down and there's literally an anime girl looking up. What the heck? What the heck? Oh boy, this is hard. Just a sec. Let me think here. I think I want to go back actually. Okay. Gonna seem like a weird thing that I'm doing, but mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Man, doing this in pixel art in particular is still pretty hard. How do I arc these? Oh, I need to think. Because there are a few things you can do in pixel art that are like shortcuts to certain things. Like, if it's tilted, if it's lightly tilted to the side, you can just put one eye higher than the other, and it gives that impression. I'm not sure what to do when the eye... Maybe? Hold up. Could just be done. So let's say I do it like this. Yeah, theoretically if I do like this, it's gonna look like I'm looking down. which is fine, but it's not really looking down, it's looking from under. However, this is a basis. Now, if I make more like this. And I do this. And the eye is lower. Because the eye is lower. It does kinda do the thing that I needed to do. Where it is looking down. But maybe this is a bit too much. Okay, we can just line it up. Man, this head is more and more becoming that big brain meme. You know the one? They've been slowly lowering the face. And now the head looks too big. With good reason it is. Is here. Goes from here to here. This. A little bit like this. These are the times where I wonder if this is a limitation of me or my or using a mouse. Okay, literally. What a good angle for this. Her, she is This angle is way sharper. Leave. Yeah, it would be a little bit more like that. The eyes would definitely be more like this. More like this. Nobody said doing pixel art studies was easy. I'll be real, I will draw a lot of stuff that I just throw away after. Stuff that I'll draw and then realize, wow, that was not good, that was not correct. It's fine. But regardless, sometimes you gotta finish the drawing. Whether you are satisfied with what you're doing or not, because sometimes it's doing these things that you figure out like you have like an epiphany, right? It's a learning is solving problems, and sometimes in order to solve a problem, you gotta figure out what the problem is to begin with. And you can only figure out the problem when you are doing something and you're like, this isn't very good. Why isn't this very good? What am I doing here that is making this not be too good? And then be objective about it and try to figure out and solve the problem. Or even, sometimes you will need a teacher, you can't learn everything on your own, but it is pretty decent to like know what you need to ask. Or what you need to research. If you want to understand why something is wrong with it. Knowing what to ask is kind of invaluable. So it would be like this. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not like giving off the idea too much that it's being watched from above. I think maybe if I squish this a little bit more. Okay. Of course, the latest face was different, but this is anime style, that is real life. think this is working. I think this is working. Do I like lower the eyes even further? I think I'm making the head too big if I'm doing this, honestly. The head is already pretty big. We don't need as much space here. There we go. Let me see. You know what is missing? You know what is missing? I think the hair physic is a little bit missing, is a little bit off too. I think the hair would be a little bit more like this, you know? There we go. There we go. As for the bangs, this. And I can do this. And these. Maybe this. Maybe this. There we are. I want to learn how to make bigger sprites, honestly. I want to learn how to make mugshots too better. Stuff like that. It's not easy. It is like a whole different logic than from making the tiny stuff. It's much more closer to drawing. Which is why I've been taking the drawing lessons. And it also needs a lot more patience. Because it takes a lot more clicks before something starts to look good. I've seen some people do it in a way where it feels a little bit more like an impressionist painting. So it takes shape faster that way. I'm not that good at doing that way though. Okay, so... yeah, definitely we're not at the angle of this lady here. To be at the angle of this lady, the head would need to be higher compared to the... this whole section here. To be at like at this level. This whole section here would have to be more distorted. I want to say maybe like this. This whole section here would have to be like this, but this area here would have to be squish. Maybe like this. And the ear would have to be a little bit sharper actually, and maybe smaller. For this particular angle, it needs to be like 1 pixel smaller, and it needs to be raised a little bit. Like this, and this. Yeah. We're learning, we're adjusting. So something like this. Yeah, I think these are the adjustments that we need to make. So it looks more proper. Yeah. Alright. Starting to like it. Maybe this area here could be a little bit sharper. Bit softer here, there we go. And we do this. You know, since she is technically from above, it would make sense for it to be a little bit curved like this. Kinda. Something like this. Here we go. You know, chat, today I went to a special place that we have here that sells a bunch of Japanese food. And I got myself a little treat for today. Today I'm gonna have some sushi. Yes. Today I'll be eating some sushi. Yeah. Like a lot of sushi. Personally, to me, I can't quite eat them as like a full meal. They feel more like snacks in a sense. I don't find them 100% filling. So, and I was looking at it, I was looking at the price, and I was like, actually, there are some regular snacks that would cost almost as much. I can treat myself just as once. So that's what I'm doing today. Soon TM. Go. Na, 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 do I want this detail? No. No, I do not. I love music box music. There's something that's both very pretty and very haunting about them. And I am all here for it. There we go. Okay, I think we're good to go to move on from to the body. So let's see. I think the first thing we should do. Do it like this. So here. Where the shoulder is. This is the collarbone that kind of connects to the shoulder here. Here's the armpit. But do I want to copy the arm pose? Not necessarily. Let's do the rest of the body first, so then we can figure this out. Okay. We did this. Get the titties. They're probably gonna be bigger than this. There we go. Okay. We're getting to somewhere. We're getting somewhere now. Hmm. Yamamochi just left, and I am left unsure if I am supposed to do the coffee. No, I don't. We don't have coffee. I guess she went out to get some coffee. Yeah, we don't have coffee down here. Oh, hello. Okay, so under the boob, under the boob. Okay. Now we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back after I finish eating. Thank you all. Don't go anywhere. BRB. But you know what? Today I'm gonna leave you guys at the intro screen because I have a new one. So yeah, enjoy. BRB. BRB. And we are back. The plan was a success. So the little tray that I bought had a total of 8 sushis of 3 different flavors. 8 sushis? 12 sushis of the 3 different flavors. And thanks to that, I could share it perfectly with Momochi, but I realized that I was a little bit too subtle with her when we were buying it, because she was surprised when I said that I was going to share it with her. She thought I was going to eat everything by myself. I bought it to eat everything by myself. Aww. I think she was a little bit like, oh, he's gonna eat everything, and I kind of want a little bit too, but she wasn't saying anything because she wants to be like very polite. And this is the funny thing, chat. Momochi may be a little gremlin on stream, but she worries so much about being polite, about not being a bother, you know? Off stream? Like, on stream she has permission to be... to like poke people because it's for entertainment purposes. But outside of stream she is very self-conscious about that sort of stuff. It's very cute. Goddamn, why are the music such a bangers? Yeah, I know they're bangers, but still. Eh. God. You know, honestly, I thought this would turn out worse than it did. I'm digging this. It's not perfect. Theoretically, I can make her... I can make her head a little bit more to the side. But it's not bad. I don't think it's bad. If we can animate it later, it would be awesome too. So far, I am digging how the forms of the body, the shapes that the drawing is taking. I am enjoying it very much. And that's one of the things that I need to do more to practice. I got sleep now, good night. Also, wait, before I sleep, okay. I wait. What am I awaiting? Uh-huh. Waiting. Why does this remind me of a specific game I can't remember the name of right now? The drawing or the music? Because if it's the music, you should remember the game. You really should remember the game, Lunatic, if it's the music. The drawing? I have no idea. You're literally seeing my reference. This is not a game reference. This is not a game reference. Interesting. Signalis? Oh my god. If my drawing is even coming closer to reminding you of the pixel art in Signalis, I'm flattered, really. Because that had such good pixel art. The posters had such good pixel art. It was like, goddamn. I wanna be like that when I grow up. Man, I need to play Signalis again. I need to actually get a good ending. I need to actually get a good ending in that game. Okay, Kiba, look at the face. Okay, I'm looking at the face. Looking at the DM. You know what? Again? I am flattered that it even reminds it of you. Also, what you just sent me actually gave me an idea. Yeah, because it's bigger, I am allowed to do this. I am allowed to actually put extra details on the eyes. You actually reminded me of something good. This actually helps. Thank you, Lunatic. That helped a little bit. Like, sometimes I increase the size of my drawing, and then I still try to draw like I'm drawing in the lowercase, so to speak. When really I shouldn't. Maybe it's because she's got at least for now, she has a very somber expression. So that's probably why. Also, chat, there is an anime that I kind of really wanted to watch, right? With you all. But there is a slight issue. It has 90 episodes. How the frick do we do this? I really wanna watch it with you guys, but like it's 90 episodes long. I have no idea how to do that. If I just leave it on while working on Discord. But then I would have to get like a dubbed version because I wouldn't be able to understand Japanese. Like, I wouldn't be able to understand what they're saying in Japanese, unfortunately. Anyways, I got sleepy. Good night, Lunatic. Good night. Shh. show in question being... I think I'm gonna leave the eyebrows for now. Figure out what to do with them later. Hope you have a good stream, Kiba. Best of luck to you. Alright, thank you, Lunatic. Have a good Nini, sweet dreams. And stay awesome, okay? And yes, you should play Signalis. I already played it once. I got the worst ending. I got the crappiest ending possible. I kinda suck at the game. But I really should play it again. Either I should play it again or I should pick someone, find someone to bother with the game. Like, I don't know, we make a... We force Momochi to play it at one point. Or maybe I make it like a collab and have someone holding my hand while I play it again. Because god, that game is so stressful. That game is so stressful. It was very stressful for me. Although, I don't know. Like... I feel like Darkwoods actually gave me some sort of extra perspective in gaming. So I might not be as stressed as I was when I was playing it. Because of that. Is that Copion? That might be Copion. That might actually just be Copion talking right now. Okay, time for the real research. Booba angles. No, he's got a point. It's like, I don't know. When I started playing Darkwoods, it felt incredibly stressful. It was like an incredibly stressful experience for me. But the more I played it, the more I started reevaluating what was important for me to do in that game, and just like thinking stuff up, essentially. I don't know how to describe it exactly, but everything that was extremely stressful for me about the game slowly dissipated. It slowly dissipated. It faded away as I played the game. And it took a while. Honestly, it took a while. I think I was stressed up to stream 3. On stream 3, the stress started to dissipate. And I just started like reevaluating how I play these games in general because of it. Thank you for the pet, Lunatic. Have a good Nini. Bye-bye. But continuing to everyone that's still around, yeah, the game was stressful, but slowly but surely, I started to like feel less and less stressed by it. And I started like adapting, thinking better about what I had to do, thinking harder, and as I started to think more about what I was doing, what I wanted to do out of the game, and plan ahead a little bit more, it started to become more fun. it started to become more fun. Sure, dying was kind of punishing. It wasn't too punishing. That is one of the bigger differences, I think. I'm not entirely sure, because Signalis is a whole lot is punishing in the old sense, where it's like, oh yeah, you died before reaching the save point, too bad. You're gonna have to find these items again and go through that annoying section again, and maybe you die again and you have to redo everything over. But at the same time, it's like, so what? So what? As long as you enjoy the process of playing the game, playing more of the game isn't really punishment. I started to think a little bit more like that. It's a big epiphany. It doesn't mean I will think like that all the time. Obviously. I'm still gonna get flustered when I game over and stuff like that. But I feel like that extra bit of insight is helpful. Because it allows me to play these games with like a clearer mind. Not being too worried about dying. Because that's kind of what gets in the way of these games is usually like, particularly if you're streaming them. If you're playing them normally, that will also happen. But particularly if you're streaming them, you will start to get worried about redoing a section too much and boring your viewer base out because you're already redoing and stuff like that. But usually, and particularly, if the streamer knows what they're doing, these moments can be good moments to watch because they create a little bit of drama. Where it's like, oh, is this the one run? Is this the run? Stuff like that can still be enjoyable. And as long as you still have stuff to talk about or... you can, like, create entertainment out of these situations, basically. So it is kind of nice. It's not it's not bad as long as you enjoy the process, right? As long as you're enjoying the process of what you're doing, you can have fun, and as long as you have fun, you can find ways to be entertaining. So it all meshes pretty well. You know what? I think I'm gonna take this drawing to my art teacher and see what he thinks about the perspective, if the perspective is good or not. It would be fun to see what they think. I think in the one that I use it for my intro screen, right? I think in that one to show them, and they gave me a thumbs up for the scenery, so That was nice. Yeah, I want sassy arm. I don't want this flapped down arm. Hold up. I think I actually want to start by drawing the forearm first and the hand to make sure. I don't do it poorly. And I am even gonna do it in another layer so it allows me to edit it more. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. This is the theme song of Rosa. She is a white mage love interest from the hit game Final Fantasy IV, which is kind of an older game, and there's not that much to say about her character because being love interest girl makes her supportive of the main character's journey. Most of her stakes are if she's gonna end up with Sasu. About it, there isn't that much to remember about her outside the fact that she could equip both for some reason. I thought that clerics had a vow to not deal piercing damage. Anywho. It always feels kind of weird when the cleric actually has a weapon outside of the mace. Even though there is nothing peaceful about the freaking mace. You know what I mean? I don't remember if that was from 3D&T or if it's from D&D. That there is like a justification why mages will use mace weapons instead of any other weapons, and it's because they take in like a vow to not like draw blood from your enemy, even though it's like if you're hit by a mace in the face, it's gonna draw blood. And then it's like, no, it's concussion damage. And I'm like, no. Do you see these things all over the mace? Those are spikes. Those are spikes. They will pierce the skull of the person you're hitting this with. Like, The mace is a fine weapon. It's really good. It's good against armored targets because it was designed to literally squash their armor with their face inside of it. But it's not a peaceful weapon. There's nothing peaceful about it. You will draw blood hitting someone with it. You'll probably draw more blood than hitting someone with it than, let's say, a dagger. Now, symbolically, a dagger could be like a symbol of betrayal and something like that. And maybe if you're following a god that has like truthful virtues or something like that, from a philosophical standpoint, it would make sense for you to not want to use a dagger as a weapon, as a cleric, right? But like from a practical standpoint, it's like, who cares? Who cares? This is D&D. There are plenty of things you're gonna have to draw blood from just to get to the grocers. Particularly if you're in the Mimic City. I remember this thing that I read that there was a DM who managed to basically logic his way into making a city where mimics have overrun the place while still maintaining a normal population. So it's a city full of mimics, but there are still people living in it. There are people who are still living in it. The mimics don't eat everybody organically. The mimics have evolved to take care of undesirables. They eat the undesirables first. So criminals, naysayers, outsiders, they'll favor eating troublemakers before they go for regular folk, because that way it creates this interesting situation where, because the quality of the living in the city increases because of the lower criminality rate, it attracts more people. So technically the mimics have more, the city prospers, it attracts more people, it attracts troublemakers because they're like, oh, there's no organized crime there, maybe we could send some guys there, you know? Like thief guilds and stuff like that. And they end up getting an ample supply of food while creating an almost, I want to say symbiotic relationship with the townsfolks. Almost symbiotic. And that is really cool for a few reasons. One, it's one hell of a scary place to be in if you figure out what's going on. And two, you really leave your party with like a head scratcher on what to do about it. Because it's like, okay, the mimics are technically bad, they're technically eating people, they're technically monsters outside of dungeons, it's extremely dangerous, we probably shouldn't leave it alone, but would the people who live here even want our help? And you can even go farther and extrapolate on it, like maybe your party of heroes tries to warn the people, and the people are kind of like, yeah, but the crime rates are so low, this is so much more peaceful. Would they voluntarily choose? you know, to keep living in a town full of mimics that could eat them, but that because they favor the criminals, they might delude themselves into thinking that these are good mimics that would only eat the troublemakers. They're never gonna turn on us if the troublemaker supply starts running low. It's perfectly safe to live here. I lived here for generations. Nothing ever will go wrong. Because it hasn't gone wrong yet. If it hasn't gone wrong yet, it will never go wrong. You know, the kind of stuff. And boy, would that be a headache for the Party's Paladin. The Party's Paladin would have like such a bad day with that. Trying to decide if he really should, if the people who are there really need help, if they're deluded, if it's even right to force help. I mean, most paladins don't really worry about forcing their justice on others, but you know, if it's a smart one, it could. It could. I know it's not going to, but it could. It could. It totally could. I mean, yes, it could doesn't equate it will, but you know, it's still interesting. It's still interesting. So I'm gonna say. So I kind of like that. I kind of like that. One last good point, however, is that mimics, if they're introduced in large quantities in your story, they will cause mass paranoia to your party. They are gonna like poke everything with a stick because it could be a mimic. I mean, at the point where if mimics are introduced like that, at that point, you kinda have to. On the off chance that the DM is like in a little bit in a foul mood that day and just decides that while you're going out for hot dogs, you have to roll for encounter. Because mimics always put you in the worst position possible, right? Because if you're not prepared for them, they'll always make you regret it. This hand here. Oof. Oof, 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 oof. Let me think now. Okay, I'm looking at some references right now for the hand. And as always, the hand is the thing that's gonna cause us some difficulty. Because the hand needs to make sense, and the hand doesn't always make sense. I'm thinking that I don't know if this works, but like starting with the finger, the index finger, and going from there to try and make your hand work. Like if the index finger works, you can kind of draw the rest of the hand from there. If the index finger is not working, probably gonna be in trouble. You know what's not working? The thumb. If this hand is supposed to be... Yeah, hold up. Okay, if this hand is supposed to be like on the tie, right? Which is something I am trying to do. One thing I think it's a little bit too high. Right, it would be lower like this. The other thing is it would be folded, so to speak. Like, I don't know. And finally, the thumb would be squishing against the thigh somehow, in one way or another. Yeah. Yeah, no. No, I think I know why it's not working. Hold up. Yeah, it's too big. It's too much. It's too much. Gotta do it like this. We gotta do it like this, and we gotta adjust the arm accordingly. Na 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 na. It's a beautiful new day. It is. Nothing could ever gone wrong. Why would you even say that you're not going to throw the princess off your kingdom in a time vortex? Nothing can go wrong on this beautiful day, even if you're friends with a boomer. Man, look how really kickstarts the plot. I can now stress your stream to bring me Booba and our cute pixel art after a long day. Hey cutie kitty! Welcome to the stream! And thank you, I appreciate that I can be reliable, a reliable source of comfort. Yes. I am trying to do an art study on perspective. So that's what we're going for at the moment. I am pulling some of this out of my ass, but... You know what? According to a trusty model, the arm is actually completely wrong. Which is a shame, because it's not bad for the position that I drew it, but... Art practice means being able to restart. But how are you doing? Hope you're doing good. See here. Na, 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 na. Let's see here. We did this. And now here's where things get tricky. Cause I gotta wing it, if you know what I mean. So it would be kind of like this. Yeah, it would be a little bit more like this, the shapes that we're using here. A little bit like this. Which requires me to change the area here. But like this, it does work better. It does work better. So, oops. Where? This. Maybe just for the sake of the perspective, like a little bit more, like squish it a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. We got this. We got this. You know, one of these days, maybe I should make an OC that I'm okay with being looted. But it is funny. It is funny. I have an issue. I can't make OCs. I can't make OCs to do loot art practically because I always end up creating too much backstory for them. I will almost always... If I spend any amount of time drawing them more than like once, they will end up with a backstory in my mind. Pick on waifu to do for that. That is true. Maybe I should just pick a waifu. Waifus are easier. Because I always got canon in my mind when doing these things. Okay, there we go, there we go. Now the hand doesn't look like a total disaster, only 95% of a disaster. Na, 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 na. Mhm. Hold up, let me do something here. The funny thing is, I have like asked it on Patreon before. People want lewd art of a character in particular. People don't usually pick the lewd art. It's funny. It's funny. Maybe my patrons just aren't that into it, honestly. Maybe I don't have to. I don't know. I don't know about this hand. What's happening here? Okay. Maybe. Na, 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 na. Finger on the wall. Who's the most crooked one of all? Don't ask why my wall have fingers. It's very rude to ask about that, you know? Why is it rude? You know why. You know, it's common sense. You don't ask about other people's fingers on the wall. That is just rude. What if they're a bit Coronis then? There we go. See here. Plus, what if the answer is, it's from the last person who asked me that, you know? That's why you shouldn't ask about the fingers on a person's wall. Although if you're ever in a situation where a person really has fingers hanging from their walls, you should probably just leave. Just say it's getting late, you really love their collection, but it's getting late and they should really go to bed, you know? Probably the best for that. The best response to that situation. Right, I have acclimated, so now I'll be to get food. Alright, cutie kitty, have good food. Wow, my room just got extremely dark. And wasn't because of the finger talk. Son, we need to have the finger talk. Oh, come on, Dad. I already learned that in school. You just hold two of them together and... Let's see here. Do this. I wonder if there's an old game that's literally called something stupid like Finger Blaster. There is a game called Scat. I actually used to play it when I was little. So if that's out there... Who knows what other wonder? I see, so that's where it all started. What do you mean? What do you mean? What did scat means anyway in the context of that game? I think it was special, cyber, advanced. No, yeah, SCA advanced tactics squad. I think that was it. Yeah, that was it. That was it. Was definitely an interesting choice. And Momochi, guess what? The game was by Natsume. It was a Natsume game. You know, the creators of Harvest Moon. You can literally said that explains why it's bad. It wasn't bad. It was special. Okay, it was kind of bad. But it wasn't that bad, you know? But it was kind of bad. But it wasn't that bad. But it was kind of bad. But it wasn't that bad. But it was kind of bad. But it wasn't that bad. But it was kind of bad. But it wasn't that bad. It was basically one of those Gradius game. People call them shmups. Right? It's not quite a bullet hell. But it was very hard. And the main challenge of the game, if you want to call it that, was the fact that instead of having a ship that you would be piloting, it would be a guy, a flying guy. And the flying guy had a really awkward hitbox, essentially. That was like the main issue with the game, was the awkward hitbox of the guy. So you never quite knew when you could dodge something or not. It was, despite the hitbox being awkward, it was actually surprisingly mirthful. But then there was a shot that wasn't gonna hit you, and you would try to dodge it because it looked like it would, and then you would walk on another shot that actually hit you. So, in many senses of the word, skill issue, but also it's kind of like those old games that have the jump button and the attack button reverse of what every other game has, the attack scheme, and you keep dying because you want to jump and you attack by accident. Technically that's on you, but also, what the fuck, developers, why did you pick this scheme instead of the one that every other player expects? You know, I think the angle turned it out pretty alright. Yeah, that is kind of important, Kitty Kitty. That is kind of important. There's a lot of games where there is theoretically absolutely nothing wrong with them, but because of a awkward control scheme, it causes people to rage. Sometimes even an awkward control scheme is enough to cause people to rage and create unnecessary difficulty to the player. It is pretty fascinating, not gonna lie. The reversed jumping and shooting in a game where there's literally only jumping and shooting is like the main one. One thing that peeved me off a lot that old computer games would do is they would have, some still do this, by the way, where they would have like a control scheme where it's like control is one of the control schemes. The other one is control, space, maybe an alt here and there. And then you would be playing the game, and every so often everything would be interrupted because Windows thinks you're trying to use sticky keys. And then he's like, would you like to change sticky keys? To change how you use Control, Alt, and everything like that. And then it would like alt-tab you from the game. It is... Personally, that one peeves me off a lot. That one is a pet peeve of great magnitude. That one peeves me a lot. This is from much older games. It's also kind of funny. I remember that way back in the day, like, games used to have a shit ton of cheat codes. They don't anymore. They don't. It's kind of funny. There are games that have... There's a point and click, call it Harvester, that actually has an infinite life and ammo code for it. And theoretically, you kinda don't need it for 95% of the game. You only need it for the final stage where suddenly there is a whole lot of fighting. The game has a fighting system, it just never comes up right up until the end. The end is fighting non-stop. Which, by the way, is not considered good game design by today's standards. Although some games will still do this. Where the final section of the game, the final boss of the game, is something that has just nothing to do with the gameplay that you played up to this point. You know when a game is a platformer, yet for some reason the final boss you play like you're playing Gradius? Some games, a lot of games used to do that. They stopped doing that because it creates a very awkward situation for both the gamer and the developer, where up to this point you were playing one game, and now right at the end you're playing a completely different game, and you better be good at your new game, even though technically you were honing the skills to be good at the game that you had so far, which was a platformer, but now you better be good at shoot-'em ups because the final boss is a shoot-'em up challenge, of which you never had time to prepare for while playing the entire game. That is something that's being abolished from gaming in general. That used to be pretty common. There is a game called Sparkster, like, okay, actually I have a non-obscure example of this. Sonic games, the classic Sonic games, right? The classic Sonic games, when usually I believe it was, I don't remember if that happens in 3 as well, but I remember that I think it was both Sonic and 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. And honestly, this is still sort of a... Okay, I'm rambling. Here's what happens. Final stage, you got all the emeralds. You're ready to fight Robotnik for the last time. You beat Robotnik, how you always beaten him with platforming and jumping at the right time and hitting him in the face a lot. And then, all of a sudden, Robotnik escapes. It's time to use the power of the Chaos Emeralds. All of a sudden, you are supersonic and you can fly, which is pretty rad. However, the game is now a type of game you didn't play before, where basically you're controlling Supersonic like he was a spaceship cruising through space. And you can crash on anything, all it does is slow you down, and you have to collect rings in order to keep the supersonic form going, because the supersonic form is depleting your rings, and you gotta be a really good flyer to be able to defeat Eggman by crashing yourself into Eggman a whole lot up until they die, or until he dies, or your rings run out. So, technically, you're playing a very different game from the game you've been playing so far. And is this good design or bad design? Good question. It resembles enough of the original game that you could adapt to it, but at the same time, it is different enough that you might die for no reason other than not understanding what's going on. I remember when I was little, first time that happened, I died. I had no idea that what I was supposed to be doing. I didn't know that if I got too slow down, I wouldn't be able to reach the boss at the end. So I had to go a trial run that got me killed. And that ended up triggering continue. Because I ran out of lives, it was my last life, and I had to redo the whole boss fight again. Not because I failed, my skills failed me, but because the game suddenly went, by the way, do a little jig now, otherwise you die. It's like, but I never done jigs before. What are you talking about? Time's up, you die. You're like, oh, okay. Usually, what became the norm when it comes to game design, right, is that the final stage is kind of like a exam. The final stage is like an exam. You can still add new mechanics to it, but any mechanic that you add should be reflective of a skill that the player has been honing throughout his entire playthrough of the game. If, like in an RPG, the final boss is usually the culmination of all the basic skills that you learned throughout the game, which is usually gonna be like how to manage crisis, essentially. So the reason the final boss has a lot of annoying status effect, can sometimes deal instant death attacks, and has like scary telegraphed AoEs, is not because he is supposed to be the strongest enemy, that also is part of it, but the real reason is that he is testing the most important core ability that you developed while playing the RPG so far, which is crisis management. Your main healer is down, but you have learned how to cope with situations like that. You already got your Phoenix Downs ready, your resurrection item, maybe you equipped your healer with a resurrection talisman, you got your anti-status effect spells or equipments ready on the go because you learned that status effects are terrible for you. You figured out this amazing combo that increases your DPS by I don't know how much %, and you're being tested on the best way to keep using it, while at the same time your party keeps sometimes changing because of the nature of the back and forth between the boss and you know? That has been like the game design that stood out as best in the test of time of game designs, because there has been a lot of game designs, a lot of different game designs. Also, what do you guys think? Are her legs too small compared to this? Should we like add more squish to it? I am thinking. We could add a little bit more. Let's see. Also, I think we only have 10 more minutes. Momochi, does that check out? And in the stream, 10 more minutes is ideal, right? Okay. So yeah, so whenever your game design isn't a reflection of what the player has learned to do during the entire game, it is noticeable even on like on about a conscious level and then a subconscious level. Some people will be like, yeah, no, it's bullshit because of this, while other people will just be frustrated, not entirely sure why. But generally, it is a frustrating experience. Last time I saw a game doing that was in Pony Island. It was a Daniel Mullins game, so it is like a more quirky game, so to speak, where the final boss was basically you playing a completely different game than what you played so far. But also that developer is well known for making games within games, let's put it just that way. So it's fine. And even Inscription, which I love, theoretically you do a whole bunch of switching. What the hell you're playing and how you're playing it. Although they're all variants of the same core principle, which is card games. And they still share a core rule, even if the context, the way they're played, the cards themselves, and even the keywords on the cards change as you play the game. So even the Pony Island guy was like, you know what, better keep this a little bit consistent to not get the player too confused about what he's supposed to be doing. Yeah, we did a thing. It's not quite this angle, but we did a thing, absolutely. This angle is like even more radical. What do you think, Momoch? Is this a cool angle? I respect your opinion. It is nice! Looking good, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, so let me do the tail. And we can clothe her later. I don't know if I want to do this on-screen or off-screen. Maybe I'll do this off-screen and I'll show the results and we can move on to doing more different pictures. It could be cool, it could be cool. Wait, which song is this? Ah, Atelier Riza. Man, we actually have that game, but it's for PS3. We can't play it because my PS3 fried. And I kinda can't be bothered to buy a new one. They're not that cheap, unfortunately. Maybe they will be someday. I wonder how much a PS3 goes for. Anyways, I probably need to save money to buy the GameCube, honestly. Like, being able to play Ball X Pit on my TV is so tempting. Balatro, even. If you get a Steam Cube, you can play Riza. Yeah, I have to rebuy it though, right? Or don't tell me it actually runs PS3 games, right? It doesn't have a CD reader. It doesn't have a CD reader, right? Yeah, but better than a PS3. You know what? That's fair. You know what? It's probably cheaper, yes, you got a point. It's probably cheaper to buy the game again on Steam than it is to buy a whole PS3 just because we have the CD. Although playing Revengeance, on the other hand, as we learned from Scarlet, the port for Revengeance is actually very crappy. Nah, it's still not worth it though. Still not worth it. Here we are. Here we go. There we are. You know, it's been a very interesting experience watching Severance, because my mom started watching it as well, and she had a lot of time as a corpo, essentially. She worked at a big corporation for a long time, and her takes on corporate culture and exactly what they are parodying it in there are so good. Just a lot of stuff that slips me by because I don't have her experience of working in an office. Especially in like a big multi-corp like she did. Anyways, guys, I didn't save so far. Angles 30. So everyone, that's all the time I have for today. I saved. Thank you all very much for joining me. Unfortunately, we couldn't dress Sume up. And I'm not sure if I'm going to finish this part of the drawing, but... Ow! Ow, 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 ow. Hey! Thank you all for joining me. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night. Stay awesome, and I'll catch you guys next time. So let's find someone to raid. Let's see. We got art. Honestly, hey, you guys want me to drop you off to someone who also is working on Booba? Because I'm gonna do this right now. Let's see. Uh-huh. Apparently it's a muted person. Anyways. Everyone, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night. Stay awesome. And I'll catch you guys next time, okay? Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a good one. And remember, when in doubt, when you think you can do it, just think like a ninja. And sure you can. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a good one. Bye.
Make like optimized game.